Hi everyone, welcome to this third devotion homeroom on Jonah. This week we're going to be covering Jonah 2. We're going to do the whole chapter. Hopefully it won't take too long. So let's start off by reading chapter 2 of Jonah.
Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. Then I said, I am driven away from your sight, yet I shall again look upon your holy temple. The waters closed in over me to take my life. The deep surrounded me, weeds wrapped around my head. At the roots of the mountains I went down to the land, whose bars closed upon me forever. Yet you brought my life from the pit, O Lord my God. When my life was fainting away, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you into your holy temple. Those who pay regard to vain idols forsook their hope of steadfast love. But I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed I will pay. Salvation belongs to the Lord. And the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah upon the dry land.
Alright, today we're going to kind of dive into kind of two things. There's a lot more obviously in this chapter, but we're going to dive into two things. We're going to do Jonah and the Psalms, and Jonah and God's merciful wrath. So, as we've read Jonah 2, you see there's some strong similarities between Jonah 2 and a couple of different Psalms. So Psalm 18 and Psalm 130. So I'm just going to read a couple of verses from Psalm 18 and some from Psalm 130, and hopefully you'll be able to see or hear some of those similarities. So Psalm 18 verse 3, call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. In my distress I call upon the Lord. To my God I cry for help. For his temple he heard my voice, and my cry to him reaches his ears. And kind of calling on the Lord, the temple, distress kind of ideas coming through here. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to your voice of my pleas for mercy. If you, O Lord, should mark my iniquities, O Lord, who could stand? So again, that kind of crying out to God in times of trouble. You can kind of hear that, and mercy and iniquity, sin coming out in that theme as well. So we'll discuss this a little bit more. One of the important things that we can conclude from this, that these Psalms have such a similarity to Jonah 2, is that the Psalms were important to Jonah. They were an important part of his life. While the Psalms are songs, many of them are also prayers, and they help Jonah to know how to pray in a very desperate time, right? Kind of like a format for him. He did not have a Bible, or in our modern times he didn't have his phone that he could connect to the internet and find a Bible. Yet he could call on his knowledge of the Psalms to help him formulate a prayer that captured his state. This has been an encouragement to me to read the Psalms more and maybe start praying through the Psalms as kind of a way of guided prayer to help me expand my prayer life. And have a prayer life that is pleasing and more focused on God than myself. It's very easy, I know, for myself, and I'm sure for many of you as well, to pray for things or about things that I need instead of praying in a way that is focused on God. The second thing I kind of want to briefly chat about is Jonah and God's merciful wrath. I think it's clear from what we've read in Jonah that God is angry at Jonah, right? That's pretty clear. Also, God is in his right to do with Jonah as he pleases, okay? Just as an artist is able to do as he or she pleases with their creation, their artwork. But God does not just punish Jonah or kill him, right? God punishes or disciplines Jonah with purpose, with mercy in mind. His time in the fish is not pleasant. This kind of reminds me of the prodigal son a little bit, where his time is kind of spends all his money and then a famine hits, right? And he goes feeds pigs and long feeds pig food. But in both cases, these men, one real, one a character in a parable, have time to reflect on God and His mercy in their distress. Right? Distress brought on by their own sin. We can see that Jonah's prays as he looks to the temple, where the Ark of the Covenant is, and on top of the Ark is the mercy seat. At the end of Jonah's prayer, we see that Jonah is throwing himself upon God and will rely solely on God for his salvation, knowing that God is merciful. Now, I'm not saying that everything bad in your life or my life is a direct result of a specific sin that we did. But bad things do happen in our lives, and they will continue to happen. But do we let them drive us to the mercy seat, or do we just get frustrated or angry? All right, that's I'm going to leave you to dwell on that kind of final statement and discuss it. You can discuss it with your friends later. Thanks for listening in, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.